On April 28th of 2000, a diver named Yuri Lipsky died in a diving accident at the Blue Hole, a popular diving spot near Dahab, Egypt in the Red Sea. This spot is known for its beautiful yet dangerous diving. It has a 120-meter sinkhole that was formed during the previous ice age. The witnesses that saw Yuri before he dove reported that he was diving unaccompanied and only had one oxygen tank with him. Not too long after he starts making his descent, you can hear him shout for help as he swims by another diver. What had happened was Yuri dove without monitoring his descension rate, so he didn't know how fast he was diving down. He also couldn't see properly, so he was unaware of what direction he was going. The reason this is an issue is because the deeper you dive, the less time your body has before it absorbs too much nitrogen through the skin, which can put you in a drunken or narcotic-like state. At extremely deep levels, oxygen even becomes toxic because of the pressure, and just one breath contains far too many oxygen particles than your lungs can handle. As Yuri dives deeper, you can then hear him struggling to breathe. At this point, he's probably around 90 meters, which is more than double the depth that a diving school teaches. He also seems to be in a drunken-like state, which probably was the cause for him not monitoring his levels in the first place. Then you can hear what sounds like a timer going off, signaling him to swim back up, and Yuri begins to realize his fatal mistake as he collapses to the ocean floor. At this depth, his buoyancy was so low due to the pressure, and on top of that, all his equipment weighed so much, so it would be almost impossible for him to swim back up. The camera eventually stops moving, and Yuri died where he lay on the ocean floor, presumably from nitrogen psychosis. In this video, the passenger holding the camera notices the truck in front of them swerving all over the road, so he begins to film. You can see the truck going around a sharp curve where it loses control and crashes head-on into another vehicle.
Do you have your phone?
Oh, somebody could be hurt, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
About 30 seconds later, by chance, the family of the red truck shows up. You can hear the wife of the driver of the red truck screaming for Nick, her husband. The two men filming go to check on the driver of the white truck, who appears to be drunk and surrounded by beer cans with a bottle of oxycodone next to him. He was in a position where if they moved him, he may be further injured. He was not wearing a seatbelt. The cameraman also notes that the driver of the red truck started walking around with what appeared to be a broken leg, and they tell him to sit back down. Everyone in the red truck made it out okay, but unfortunately, the driver of the white truck did not survive. In this video, two friends go exploring this deep cave. In the first clip, you can see just how steep it is. The only way for them to get into the cave is by rappelling down with a rope.
Man, I'm going down. Woo! I'm going into this hole that's so tight. I had to take my helmet off. Oh, that's tight. It's really sharp too. Okay. Man, I think I gotta just keep going down.
At this point, there is only about 1 to 2 feet between the floor and the ceiling, and they continue through on their stomachs.
Jeez. That looks wet. In fact, both directions do. Well, James said I squeezed by a rock and it was super sketchy. And he didn't feel comfortable doing it, so it's just me going into this really cold water. This is where I'm at. Water's right here. There's no room for me to move my head. If I try and tilt it up, my mouth goes underwater. Gotta keep pushing it down.
You can tell just how uneasy he is, but he continues on.
So the reason I kept pushing is I thought it was gonna get wider, but as I'm getting closer I realized it's an illusion. The water was just so calm and still above me that it was reflecting the ceiling off and it just looked like a way bigger space. But it's continuing to narrow down. It's been like an off and on raining type of day. If it floods at all, I'm done for. So I'm gonna attempt to turn back around, even though I don't know if I can.
Luckily, he manages to get himself turned back around, but doesn't have an easy time getting back.
Oh my god, I think I'm stuck. This is not a joke.
The terrifying reality is, if he were to end up getting stuck, it would be almost impossible for anyone to come and save him, since he's so deep into the cave. Thankfully though, he manages to get through and ends up being fine. This is definitely an anxiety-inducing clip if you have any sort of claustrophobia.
Hey James! Oh, I'm coming.
This clip takes place in South Los Angeles on the 110 freeway and shows what appears to be a car crashed in the middle of the highway from the point of view of another person's car with the spotlight aimed at the wrecked vehicle. Notice how they have no lights or hazards on as the other cars fly by. The video cuts, and the driver of the vehicle had fled to the shoulder of the highway as it gets slammed by another car at full speed. From here, it just ends up being a chain reaction. You'll see as many cars swerve at the last second, and a few more crash into the pile.
Hi, I'm reporting a multi-vehicle traffic collision southbound 110, south of Florence. Right now, 4 vehicles involved, walking middle lane, all blacked out, just south of Florence. Yep, 4 vehicles involved so far. I'm not sure. There was one person walking around on the freeway. And there was someone walking on the freeway just before the TC. He was in the middle lane at his car. I'm not quite sure if he got hit. Multiple dark sedans. Now it's 5 car TC. I'm in there. And now 7. I'm with Unsettling.
Pile-ups are an extremely horrifying thing, especially at night when people can't see until the last second, making it difficult to stop. In this particular situation, 6 total vehicles were involved. Thankfully, no fatalities were reported, as 2 of the vehicles look unrecognizable, and 2 people were taken to the hospital in unknown conditions. Here, we see a group of skiers up on a mountain, seemingly pretty high up. Unlike a ski resort with chairlifts, these guys have to hike up to ski, and probably are a good ways away from anyone else. As the cameraman skis down, you can already see how powdery and loose the snow is. As his friend stops above him, the camera guy yells to him to be careful of the crevice in front of them. Unfortunately, this sends a large amount of snow at the camera guy, which pushes him forward and he falls into the crevice.
Putain, je crois que je me suis niqué le ligament. Hein. J'ai le genou qui tient pas là. Ah, je peux pas, gros, j'ai le ski bloqué.
It doesn't appear that he fell all the way in, as he yells to his friend for help before he slides any deeper. He also states that he thinks that he tore the ligaments in his knee pretty badly. At any moment, the crevice could collapse, sending the guy deeper and potentially suffocating him.
Attends, je vais essayer d'enlever l'autre ski, mais ça me fait peur. J'essaie d'enlever l'autre ski, tiens. Ah.
Eventually, he gets both of his skis off, and he's able to climb out with the help of his friend.
Oh. Allez, gros. Allez, c'est bien. Ah, j'ai mal. Allez, super. Attends. Ah, je me suis bien fait le genou, je pense. Ah, merde. Bon, au moins, c'est pas enfui sous la neige. Tu me tiens bien? Ouais. Va pas par là. Ouais. Ok. Oh putain. Il y a un trou là aussi. Ça va être mon ski. Oh là. Oh là là. Oh là là. Vite mon ski.
They called for rescue, and a helicopter was able to come pick up the cameraman and take him off the mountain safely. Had he been alone, there's a very good chance he wouldn't have survived. The snow eventually would have caved in on him the next time someone skied down, and they never would have known someone was down there. This guy got very lucky, and injured knee was the only thing that came of this situation, as it could have easily ended in tragedy. On April 20th, 2018, Marion County Sheriff's Office in Ocala, Florida responded to a call of an active shooter at Forest High School. At 8:29 a.m., Sky Boucher, who was a former student at that school, went into Building 1 and sprints up the staircase carrying a guitar case and a backpack. Inside the backpack was a tactical vest, gloves, and shotgun shells. Inside the guitar case was a 16-gauge sawed-off shotgun. He enters one of the bathrooms on the second floor and loads the shotgun and gears up, then immediately exits. He even passed someone in the hallway who somehow didn't notice the gun. He then fired one round into the closed door of a classroom, hitting one student in the foot. The following body cam footage shows the student who was struck by the gunfire screaming in pain.
Right here, hold on. Secure. What the hell is that?
Who was that?
What happened?
Primary responder.
996 Baron, I have a shotgun in the hallway laying on the ground. Did we lock the school down? Lock the school down now.
Right now. Somebody said McManus has the kid.
Huh?
McManus has the kid.
Where?
We are on it. Tail 2 is Missouri Green Gospel.
Hey, you stay right there. Down on the ground.
Once the officer has Boucher detained
What the
and orders
hell?
everyone out,
Put your hands
you'll
behind
see
your
how
back.
extremely compliant he is with the police.
Or it looks like they locked all the doors. Where do I need to go? What building?
X-ray 996.
If someone... Hold on just one. Go secure the gun for now.
Where's that?
It's in the hallway.
Restroom.
Secure the... There's another one in the restroom?
No, I said the gun's in front of me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir.
What do you say?
I wasn't raised by the right people.
Are you kidding me?
There's a lot of violence. I don't know. In
5345 area. The front doors of the main building are all locked. I'm walking
Are
around
you,
the outside.
are you serious?
I don't know why.
That's the forward.
Don't say another word. Don't say another word. Do you have anything else on you?
No, sir.
Do you have any other weapons on this campus? Do you have any other explosives on this campus?
Sir, I put all my stuff on the table behind you, sir. Shells and the knife. That's it.
It's clear that he isn't mentally well, and he tells the cop that he's been brought up around a lot of violence. Another chilling fact is that this is the same day the Columbine shooting happened back in 1999.
How did you get up here with a shotgun? You just carried it up here?
Yes, sir.
Are you kidding me?
What stairs did you come in?
Holy cow.
What door did you come in?
Right here.
The stairs is building.
24.
And anyone in my family, make sure they don't get near me because they're very mentally ill and very not stable.
Do they know you're here?
No, sir.
How would they know you're here then?
No, I'm just saying, like, if they find out, they may get violent. They may. So I just want them, just let you know that they're not stable people.
Sky, are you sure you're the only one?
Yes, sir, but...
Because I'm telling you, your world's gonna...
There's a but. What is the but?
Bad if you don't freaking tell us everything.
No, I'm saying that today is the day of Columbine, so other people are going to do what I do, just because.
Do you know of other people that are doing the same thing?
I'm a lone wolf. There's no one else that I worked with. I'm telling you the truth, all right? There's no reason for me to you right now, because I gave up after one shot. I'm telling you everything I know.
In an interview, Boucher says how the reason he committed this was to let people know that there's something wrong with him, not to kill anyone. He says if he wanted to, he could have kept going after the one shot. He also states that he wanted to be locked up so they wouldn't be able to hurt anyone. Boucher was sentenced to 30 years in prison, with an additional 30 years of probation. He pleaded no contest on a slew of charges which included terrorism, aggravated assault with a firearm, culpable negligence, carrying a concealed firearm, possession of a firearm on school property, possession of a short-barreled shotgun, interference in a school function, and armed trespassing on school property.